chamomile, green, Earl Grey, black, oolong, Assam, Darjeeling, matcha, English breakfast. We are, of course, talking about tea. Like coffee, tea is a plant. The leaves of this plant are picked and later become tea. Black, green, oolong, yellow, and white tea all come from this same plant. This plant, native to China and some parts of Southeast Asia, is called Camellia sinensis. The difference between all these different types of tea that come from Camellia sinensis comes from the way the leaves are processed after they're picked from the plant. Green tea is formed when heat is applied to the leaves immediately after picking. One method is to use steam, and what this does is it locks in the greenness of the tea, and that's why you get that green color when you brew the tea. Black tea has a different process, which involves an extra couple of steps, such as rolling and fermentation, and it gives the tea a rich red color when it's brewed. Oolong tea involves a step known as bruising, which is when tea leaves are shaken or rolled using various pieces of apparatus, making them look, well, a little bruised before being processed further. Yellow tea involves a process known as yellowing. Finally, white tea is when you keep things real simple and just leave the leaves out to wither after picking and then dry them. Okay, that's a lot to take in. So where do other types of tea fit into all this, like chamomile tea? Well, it turns out chamomile tea has nothing to do with the Camellia sinensis tea plant. That fits into a different category known as herbal tea. And this can be confusing because the word tea here is referring to a brewing of something in hot water to make a drink. Chamomile tea is literally just dried up chamomile flowers that you put into hot water to make chamomile tea. The well-known rooibos tea just uses leaves from the rooibos plant native to South Africa. Other examples include peppermint tea, which is just peppermint leaves in hot water, or hibiscus tea, which is just parts of the hibiscus plant brewed with hot water. There can, however, be teas that are somewhere in between, where they use tea leaves, which are from the Camellia sinensis tea plant, with other stuff which isn't from the Camellia sinensis tea plant. Like certain types of teas in North Africa that mix green tea leaves with mint leaves. Another example is jasmine tea, which is usually green tea leaves that have been kept together with jasmine flowers, so that the aroma and essence of the flowers can be absorbed by the tea to create a drink that has a certain flavor. The very famous Earl Grey is just black tea blended with bergamot. Another well-known one you might know is matcha, which is generally just green tea ground up into a powder. In England, a popular type of tea is breakfast tea, which is basically just black tea, but it's usually a mix of different types of black teas from different regions. Tea, like coffee, can be slightly different in different places. That's why some teas are named after the regions they're from, like Assam or Darjeeling. There is actually a sixth type of tea that also comes from the Camellia sinensis tea plant, and that is dark tea. Yeah, you read that right. And no, this is not just the same as black tea. This is a type of tea like no other. Dark tea involves taking the tea leaves and fermenting them, kind of like with black tea, but in a whole different way. This type of fermentation, which varies region by region, involves a more long-term fermentation, in which the tea leaves are shaped into cakes and left for months or even years.